Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa DeMeo, and I am joined by my husband, Chris DeMeo, and we are the Talking Gravesend Podcast, the podcast that is dedicated to celebrating William DeMeo's streaming series, Gravesend. And as you can see this evening, we are joined here by a special guest, Cristian DeMeo.
It's exciting, Lisa. That's right. Cristian's here. He's an accomplished actor. He's been in movies such as The Family Feud, Once Upon a Time. Were you in Once Upon a Time?
Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, you were.
You
there.
were very
That's
young.
right.
We saw you behind the fence.
Yeah.
Oh my God, and of course he plays Sammy, Mikey the Hat's nephew in Gravesend 2. Cristian, welcome to the show.
Thank you both. I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, come on. It's an honor to have you here. You know, we've had you in our living room so much we feel like we know you already. So you have done an amazing job. You were actually one of the first talent that we covered at the Talking Gravesend podcast when we produced our little reels from our show. You were the first reel that we actually produced.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. We loved your, I think it was, what was it? What was it on? Was it the cast deep dive episode?
It was the deep dive,
yeah, that
yes.
we talked about Cristian. I didn't know that you were William's son, actually, until I watched the credits. And I was like, holy crap, that guy's William's son.
Yeah.
So what is it like working? We've got a lot of questions for you. A lot of the fans want to know questions about the show, about you. I don't even know where to start, but you are from Brooklyn, right?
Yes, I am. I was born in Brooklyn. I was born at Long Island College Hospital, which is no longer there. I grew up in Gravesend. I would go to that house that you see on in the show that on West Street. I would go there on the weekends. That was my grandmother's home, and it feels like home.
Wow.
when we're shooting.
So, I mean, the show is set in the late 80s, and I mean, you're not old enough to be this age in the late 80s. Can I ask how old you are, Sam?
I'm
Sam,
20.
that's freaking bad. Can I ask how old you are, Cristian?
I'm 26.
You're 26 years old. Wow. So this is something that so have you always wanted to be an actor in the film industry?
I mean, when I was younger, for me, it kind of was like something a little surreal in a way, because I grew up on set. You know, my father's been, producing his own films for such a long time now. And as a little boy, I remember going with him to set and seeing everything being done and created and being like marveled by it all, So, I mean, when I was younger, I was very fascinated by it, but I really started to understand it more at the age of like around 16.
Okay.
And starting to take in all that knowledge. My father would as a young boy, it was just kind of more of like a thing where I was there and I would see actors and I would be introduced to all the different actors. But around like the age of 16, I started to get an education.
Okay.
And when it came time for me to decide what I was going to do around like 18 years old, my father always told me, he says, listen, if you're gonna follow in my footsteps, if this is really what you want to do, you have to go after it full force. And, a lot of parents, they encourage their kids to go to school, get an education,
Sure.
and do that. But my father actually told me, he says, if this is what you want to do, if you want to be an actor, then you're getting the best education that you could possibly get. By, he said, follow my footsteps, work with me, produce with me. And I wind up doing a little bit of college, but I realized, you know what? I want to take my 20s and I want to just give it everything.
Wow.
So I wound up just dropping out and.
What were you studying?
Yeah, that was a good question, Lisa.
I was actually studying criminal justice.
Okay,
perfect.
Fun.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And did you want to be in law enforcement when you grew up? As a little boy, was that kind of something that you had in your mind? I
mean, I've always had a tremendous respect for law enforcement and the military. I'm a very proud American, So I mean, it was something that I kind of toyed around with, but my passion was always to be an actor.
And is being in front of the camera where you see your future, or would you anticipate maybe ever wanting to take a chance at maybe doing some producing or some directing or any other job that comes inside of production?
I am producing with my father now with the show, but I've soaked in so much knowledge. I've gained such an education by just the show alone. I mean, just from the process, the back end of it. I mean, people don't understand. how much goes into doing something.
Yeah, you just don't show up with cameras and shoot it and put it on TV,
especially
right?
your independence.
Independently. That's the thing is that, I kind of want to like emphasize this, is like what Gravesend is an independent show. It wasn't funded by any big studio.
Right.
It was just us that, we got private financing. We have, had Wall Street backing us as well. But we did everything from A to Z.
Yeah.
There was.
That's why the show's so good.
Thank you so much.
That's why the show's so good.
And we took a lot of, it took a lot of passion, a lot of faith to get something like this done. But to answer your original question, yes, I would like to do my own stuff, but my top priority right now is obviously the show.
Sure, and you're producing, you're producing the show, you're acting in the show. Mm-hmm. What is it like working with your dad? Like for instance, there's a scene where you on season 2 where you join him early morning at the boatyard.
In the boatyard, yeah.
And you have really an amazing exchange, and you really do, in my humble opinion, Chris, you do a great job of not being his son inside of that role.
Thank you. That's what I tried to do.
And what was that like for you, especially when you said to him, "My dad's a very hard man to please"?
Hard to please, yes. That must have felt good, right?
How was that for you?
Well, you know what? So there's so many different aspects in the way that I work with my father.
Okay.
I work with him behind the screen from the very beginning, before anyone sees the creative aspect of it. I see the scripts. I'm there in the writing room, but then to see these characters come to life, and then share certain moments at a premiere when everything is already completed.
Wow!
Because we know what it was like from the beginning to the end.
Sure,
it's something very special.
I can imagine.
And then to share the screen, on Gravesend season 2, I believe it was the first or the second time that we ever shared the screen together.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it was that was obviously.
Yeah. So the first scene was when you walked up and Mikey the Hat introduced you. They were all playing
everyone around the
Continental
pool.
Rummy.
Yes.
And which I just love. I love that they have Rummy in the show, and we talked about this. All the kids today play this Texan Hold'em and all these different poker games, but Rummy was the game back then. You counted it out. Did you ever see the movie Flamingo Kid with Matt Damon? No,
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon, thank you. Flamingo Kid, set in Brooklyn, young Jewish kid, and it's all about the game of Rummy. Really comes into the game. I think you would like the show. It's him going out to Long Island, and he leaves Brooklyn and all of his friends to go work at a beach club.
Okay.
You'll like.
Yeah, the big
show.
line from that is "Sweet Ginger Brown."
Sweet Ginger Brown.
That's what you say when you throw it down.
Anyway, I know you like old movies and stuff. So, was there an old movie or anything that you used to like to watch that make you feel more comfortable? When you were at home.
I'm a huge Bronx Tale fan.
Bronx Tale, okay.
Bronx Tale fan. I actually think, for me personally, that was my favorite Robert De Niro role. I felt like he was such a great father, and to see that other side of him, I believe that was
great,
truly special. But I actually recently, I know I'm gonna get a lot of grief for this, but I recently watched The Godfather.
Okay, so you just picked it up.
Just picked it up because it was a long movie.
Yeah, yeah.
But I have to say the impact on someone, because I'm young, the impact that movie had on me, it was just that. Now that's probably my favorite mom movie of all.
Okay, I think I like Apollonia. I wish that Apollonia didn't get blown up, and then Michael had Apollonia, and then he would have had a different trajectory. That's just my personal thought. Anyway. Lisa, you want to save me on that?
No, I don't. I'm gonna let you swim with that one, Apollonia.
You know what I love about that movie? There wasn't a lot of cursing in it, and they got the point across.
Yeah.
You're right.
You didn't have to bring it to that level.
Nope.
To know that they meant business.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a good point. And, learning about how the writing happened, the oranges being in place before any scene someone dies. I'm sure you'll realize that as you're watching the show. Just outstanding writing, and it's an absolute classic. I'm glad to hear you say that. What about the Bronx Tale? You have any favorite scenes? How about the crap scene?
I love the crap scene. I love the crap scene. That's so funny with Joe the Whale and Frankie Coffee Cake.
That's right. He's a Frankie Coffee Cake. He's like, no, what were you saying earlier? Coffee Cake. Him shooting dice. No good?
No good. Get the towel.
Get the towel. Put him in the bathroom.
Put it over his head.
That's right. They put a guy in the bathroom in that scene, right?
Yeah.
I was that kid, the kid running around making sandwiches and all of that. When I was a little boy, that was me. I've literally done that freaking scene that kid did. So it's kind of hilarious that that's one of your favorite scenes. It's one of my favorite scenes.
I think, the lesson in that movie, don't waste your talent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so relatable because, there's so many people out there that are immensely talented, it's so talented, but the world will never get to see it because, they veer off.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just the lessons in that movie. It was a masterpiece.
Chaz Palminteri did an amazing job. I've never seen the one-man show, and I've always wanted to.
Go.
Yeah,
I really
want to. And he was actually just here. He comes about once a year over here to MGM and does a show. So we'll have to get in on that, Lisa. We got to see Chaz. We was in Atlantic City one time, and we were there, and we missed it as well. So got to get in on that. What are some of the, if you had... you've done a lot of scenes in this show, and I want to talk to you. We talked a little bit about what it was like to work with your dad. Now, you have some pretty intense scenes with both Gabriele Palminteri and with Leo Rossi. So let's touch on Leo Rossi first. Your relationship with him is so believable, right, as uncle and nephew, especially William was talking about the scene where you were talking about your mom being murdered. It was at the end of... Oh, geez, I forget which episode, where you're out talking on the dock about the fishing trip that he took you on.
Yeah, that's the second episode.
That's the second episode of the second season. Mm-hmm. How did you prepare for that scene, Sammy? Was this something that you and Leo just, worked together on? Why are you so damn comfortable together?
Well, it was great. It was set up from this first season. I don't know if you remember the scene where Gino gets kicked out of the bar.
Yes.
At the social club, and Leo... Mikey the Hat says, I remember when my sister was killed by Son of Sam.
I was just like Gino.
Yeah, I wanted to kill everybody. I had nothing but anger inside of me. And it kind of set it up, and we drew inspiration from that to create my character. But working with Leo he's just such a gentleman, and he's such a giving actor.
Okay.
And he's so professional. He's been in 100 movies, he really comes to play, and he's very passionate about the project, and he treats all the actors around him so great, and I have nothing but great things to say about him. And when we did those scenes, we really prepared.
Did you?
Beforehand. We sat in the trailer, we went over everything, and it just flowed very well. I particularly love that scene, on the fishing scene.
Yes. It was a touching scene, and the thing that really got me about it, Cristian, was that your name in the show was Sammy, and your mom, Nancy, was killed by the son of Sam, and that you hated your name. And I found that to be really intense, right? It's showing, to be ashamed of your name is a very intense emotion, and I found that to be a very true moment inside of your performance with Leo. And it really it helped us kind of understand, as the audience, some of that motivation that you have, right, as of who you are.
Yeah, this character of Sam, he's very, he has a dark past.
Sure.
The last memory that he has of being in Brooklyn was his mother being killed by Son of Sam.
Did he see it? We don't know.
We don't really know.
Okay.
I don't think he saw it, but he saw the aftermath of it.
Okay.
How much of an impact it had on his father.
You're right.
It drove his father to drink.
Yeah, he's a drinker now.
He moves out of Brooklyn. He goes to Florida, and he's just drowning himself in the bottle. And the kid doesn't know how to deal with that. He's separated from the rest of his family. He's in Florida, and it causes him to do all the wrong things.
Sure. We see you're dealing 5 pounds of chocolate Thai weed to these two guys. And I got to tell you, pretty good with a gun, man. You freaking whipped that out, freaking lit that guy up.
You jumped in the trash can. It was pretty impressive. Yeah.
Action packed.
You were so agile. Shoot, right in there. We were
Those
quite
are my favorite
impressed.
scenes, by the way. All the action stuff.
Oh my gosh, we love your action
Let's talk about it. Let's jump right to
scenes.
the action scene. I could see you as an action star. No lie, and I'm not just blowing smoke because you're here in the TGP studio. That scene that you had inside the roller rink.
Oh my goodness.
Where you stood up for, oh my God. All right, go ahead.
How did you prepare for that? Because that was so beautifully coordinated. That was like a beautiful dance that you did. What did you do to prepare for that?
So, I made sure that I was in decent shape, trying to work out behind the scenes. But when we shot that scene, the whole first segment, so it took us 2 days to shoot that scene in full, from the beginning of all the roller rinkers, and then Gabriella with her boyfriend, and then me with the guys, and then the fight. And the fight was just 1 day in itself. Okay. And the top of the fight is me hitting the guy with the skate. I'm jumping over the thing. I do the Superman punch.
Yes, we love that. That's so good.
On the lockers. And I probably did that 6 or 7 times.
Oh, wow.
And by the time you're done with a scene like that, just the first half of it drains you. And I'm wearing Capizios. I'm wearing Capizios.
That's why you were so grateful.
That's right.
So graceful.
And my feet are hurting because you put the Capizios on there tight, and you're trying to break them in. And shout out to Capizio, they're one of our sponsors. So the top of the scene, I'm giving it right to this guy. And then the second half of the scene is I'm getting it.
Yes.
And when it got time, when it came time to shoot that part of it, I was so drained because we spent hours doing the top of the scene,
the 1-2,
and I'm like, all right, we gotta keep going, and I want you want to make it look as real as possible, but I got a little bit of a beating. I got a little bit of a
I like how you said, fucking juice heads or something like that.
Juice head security guards, he says. Yes. Well, you looked thoroughly exhausted at that point. Like you had gotten a pretty bad beating from those guys. But yeah, that scene in particular, we really loved your performance in there. You were like Spider-Man, I think is how we described it.
Oh my God, no, I really
good.
can see it. And it was so smooth, right? That, of course, I never saw anyone get hit with a roller skate. And I just loved that you hit the guy with the roller skating, because who hits a girl? You know what I mean? Who hits a girl?
I think it kind of shocked everybody when the guy.
Yeah, what he
just
oh my God! And so you come to her rescue. You do the right thing. And then I like how the whole team. You've got Nino and Robert, right? So Nino's played by Frank.
Yeah.
Right, and Robert. Give it to me. Stephen Gregory.
Yeah.
Right?
Gregory, yeah.
And those guys jump into it. I mean, everybody's getting into it.
It's a total melee.
It's a total melee. Just absolutely. And what I really like is that when you get out of jail and you get into your uncle's car, and he kind of gives you a little trouble, because remember, wherever there's trouble, there's Sammy, right? So he's just like, here we go again. And then you're like, hey. And he goes, you did good. And I thought that was really cool that he said that to you, because you were in the right. You did the right thing.
Yeah, and he explains the difference between the FBI and the cops, and
that's
cops
right.
They're not really the problem, and he's giving Sammy an education. If you look at the first 3 episodes, Sammy's dressed different. He's in Miami. He's used to that feel, and then when it transitions and he comes to New York after that incident in episode 3 with the dealing going wrong.
Yes.
You also see Mikey the Hat now. He in the second episode, he's not wearing.
Yes.
Right?
Well, he was trying to keep that.
He's trying to keep you out of the light.
Trying to keep him away, but then when he kills the guy, he kind of like, now there's no choice. Now he already opened up that door. He embraces him. And then when he comes to New York, he lays down the law.
Yeah.
In that 5th episode, which is one of my favorite episodes. And then you see, like, now Sammy's trying to fit in. He's dressing like all of them. He's
you got your blazer and your mock neck.
Feeling your Brooklyn.
Soaking in all the information. And I thought that was I kind of chose a lot of my wardrobe.
Oh, did you?
And shout out to the Garage Clothing Store. But
you look good.
Thank you.
What is it like being so darn good looking on the set? I mean, I imagine you probably have there's probably girls lined up outside your trailer.
The light just hits you a certain way.
The light hits you a certain way, Cristian.
Your scenes, you're just like, wow. So dreamy.
We don't mean to put you on the spot, but we do, because you are a great looking individual.
Thank you for the great compliment.
God bless.
I appreciate you both.
When it comes to stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with owning who you are, right? And as an actor and as a performer, I don't know if you realize the impact that you have on your audience, because you have an incredible stage presence. You've got a great camera presence.
Thank you.
And you have a way of, in my opinion, being honest on the camera, right? So and that's what good acting is all about, where you believe what you're seeing. So your interactions with you and Leo, your interactions with Gabriella, I just believe them. I believe them. I'm not watching a show. I'm watching real life. And just hats off to you. Yeah, Cristian, you do a great job.
I really appreciate the compliment. Thank you both. I'm a God-fearing man, and I'm honest in real life. And I thank God for everything, that he's given me and the blessings that he's provided for my life. When it comes time to perform, I take the craft very seriously. I believe preparation is everything. And whenever you're playing a character that, is not, I don't know what it's like to lose somebody.
Sure.
Like my mother. Thank God I have both my parents. But, when you're putting your feet in someone else's shoes, because there are people that lost loved ones, the son of Sam. You want to make sure that you're portraying the character right. Okay. And that you do, for the people that have truly suffered, that you're doing them justice, and, I'm just a performer, but I'm grateful and I'm humbled by all the people that love the show and all the people that compliment me and appreciate my work. Thank you so much. It's humbled me greatly, and I'm just so grateful for the opportunity that I've had to, because with television, right, this is my first time doing TV.
Okay.
You get to, with a movie, it's like you can show your character, but there's only so much time. With a show, you get to that character really comes to life, and you get to see how certain events in the story change this character, mold this character.
Sure.
And that's what I've loved about this journey. Seeing how like these different moments, and then you have to play true to that. Sure. You can't start changing it. You're going forward. Like you see what happens at the end of the second season, right? With, I don't want to ruin it for people, but with Nino. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we haven't done the last 2 episodes yet, but we can talk about it because I'm sure a lot of the folks who watch the Talking Gravesend podcast have probably already watched all the seasons, so you're not going to spoil anything.
Yeah. Well, I won't get too deep then into what happens, but you could see how the life isn't what it seems.
No, yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's not all how people portray it to be, and the glamour. That's not what it's really all about.
It's
there is a dark, sad side to it, for sure.
One of the things that I struggle with inside of the show, I don't say struggle with inside of the show, but I feel that the show puts forth how young men should be. Today's day and age, there's not a lot of people showing a young man how to be a young man. They're not telling him how to dress. They're not telling him how to treat a woman. Not telling people how to act in public, right? Kids today are jacksticks, for lack of a better term. Muffin heads, whatever you want to call them, screwballs.
People think it's acceptable to be a spectacle.
To be a spectacle, you know what I mean?
Make other people uncomfortable for no reason.
So the show shares that lesson that I find is lacking in our society today. But the tragic part about that is it's shared through men doing a zillion years. You know what I mean? Like, having honor is more than a word, and this show shares that. And I just wish that there was a way to share that message without having to share the tragedy of the life, right? Yeah. Just the fact that it's either dead or in jail, and that's how most of unfortunately, the individuals end up.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I think that Gravesend captures the realistic, aspect of the life.
It does.
And I think that's what a lot of people appreciate. There's so many other shows that touch on this genre, and they kind of own it.
They do, and they miss. There's a lot of misses, right? Like as far as like how a sit-down goes down, what the rules are, what's acceptable, what isn't. I really like that. And one of the things I want to talk about is since you brought up Nino and you brought up Nino and Robert, in that scene where you guys are sitting at the table outside the social club, and Benny walks up and says hi to you, and everybody says, wow, he spoke directly to you. And then Frank goes he brings up the new Trans Am, and you're like, hey, I like the Smokey and Bandit one. And he goes, my mother won't let me have a fast one. She calls me all the time. And that's when you come out with, I wish I could call my mother just one time. And I wanted to ask you, did that scene have anything to do with Frank Sinatra?
No, it didn't.
Okay. No, it's funny because I really thought it did. I mean, the writing of this show never misses, right? So whether it happens by accident or is intentional, I'm really impressed. So Frank Sinatra, his mother died. And I don't know if you know that at a young age. So I don't know who the actor was, and they were doing a stage show together, I believe, and the actor was complaining that the mother was bothering him and calling him, and that she had to call his mother, and he got sick of it. And he literally said, I would do anything to call my mother. Oh, wow. Give me her number. And Frank Sinatra called this actor's mother every week until she died.
That's amazing.
So your character being the young, good-looking Italian guy on the scene, emulating Frank Sinatra in his real life. I love the show.
Thank you. Well,
did you know that story?
No, I didn't.
All right, come on. You heard it first here at TGP.
Story.
Come on, we love this show. Cristian, this is part of the reason that Lisa and I decided to dive in and do the Talking Gravesend podcast, because there's so much to learn, and we want to introduce everybody to the characters, right? To their filmographies. We just saw you as a little boy with your dad boxing on the bag there with Vincent Pastore holding the bag, telling him to go harder. That was
actually
that was a trailer, right?
It was a trailer. It was supposed to be a movie, but I don't know the backstory of why it fell through, but it winded up. It was a boxing movie. It was supposed to be a boxing film, but then in 2016, we released Back in the Day.
Okay.
Which was
So that's what that turned into?
It really, the story wasn't the same. It was different.
Okay.
But that was the boxing movie that my father wanted to do. He always wanted to do a boxing.
And have you ever taken boxing lessons?
I actually do.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, I do.
See, Lisa, that right, left, that was like professional.
Yes.
Thank you.
We thought so.
Yeah, I love the sport of boxing. And that's a true workout. I mean, but it keeps you on your toes. It keeps you very healthy, and I love it. I love everything about that. But I also wanted to get back to the scene that you were talking about with Nino and Robert.
Yep.
And what people don't know is at the end of I don't want to.
It's okay, you can say it.
Just do it.
Go with it.
I don't want to ruin it, but at the end, you see that reflected when he's talking to Leo in the bar. And what people don't know about that is me and Leo kind of added that in with the freedom. My father gave us the freedom, but we added that in because I thought about, we shot that after we did the scene in front of that social club. He thinks the first thing that comes to Sammy's mind is, he called out for his mother.
Yeah.
He called out for his mother, but when she was alive,
he didn't care. Yeah.
So it's like, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about when it's about to be over? What do you think?
Sure.
What crosses your mind? And it shows that he truly did love his mom, but he didn't express that.
Sure.
And
I think
that's so, for me, it's like it impacted me because it's like, we're all alive. We're all here one day.
Yeah.
And then tomorrow, we're gone. But, we have to appreciate the people that are in our life now, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I know when I'm sick, I want my mommy.
Yeah, you do. You always want your mom.
Yeah, like, where's my mom?
Like, oh, I can help you, honey. You're like, I want my mom. No, that scene was a moving scene, and we won't give it away, but you're going to tune into the last episode. You're going to see. And you guys got into some pretty heavy shenanigans. I really liked the scene when you went and paid back Jimmy Beans. There was another choreographed piece.
You had so much energy in that scene when you guys were dressed up like the Warriors.
So
I told them it had to be face paint.
Really?
I told them.
That was your idea?
I know they were going to use masks. I says, no. If we're going to do this, you have to do face paint like the Warriors.
Yes.
You ever watch Dead Presidents?
Yes.
That's another great one.
So I had the face paint.
That's a great movie. And
when you said, so you guys are playing, huh?
You
added that in? Come on.
That was perfect.
The Warriors, man. I mean,
come out and play it.
Come on, that was great. And the way they showed up in the face paint, it just reminded me of the Warriors.
And kudos to those actors that took that beating because they were all padded up and we were.
You beat the crap out of those guys. There's blood everywhere.
They were true professionals, and it was choreographed so well.
Yes.
And on that street, it's so gritty. You see us we're walking. You see the shadows on the wall, on the brick wall, and you see the graffiti, and then all of a sudden, our faces pop up, and you don't even like. It takes a second for you to realize who's who.
Yep.
And
Vic was there to help you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. He was like, Sammy, you go this way,
yeah,
and he finally get a line in that scene.
Yeah, but
that poor guy, he hits people with weights and opens doors, and now he finally gets a line.
But that scene was it was great. We go in, we walk in, we take I had the whatchamacallit,
Little Billy Club?
No, I had the crowbar.
The crowbar.
There it is.
I had the crowbar. I hit the table. The cards go over the place.
Yes.
We start whacking them, and we take the bottles. We break it over their heads. I mean, it was great. Those scenes are so fun.
Is it fun to shoot a scene like that?
They're so fun because it's and when you see it, and a lot of credit goes to the editors, right? Because they have a lot of work to do in those scenes. But when you see the final product, it's like, oh my gosh, I remember, and then all these things come back to you as you're watching it,
It was a joy to watch. You were fully animated. All the guys did a great job, and you put in your work. And right after that, you ended up getting your own numbers racket. So there you go. You did pretty good. Yeah. And I like that you got your numbers racket. We actually broke it down to help people understand. Not everybody knows what a track handle is, so I had to explain.
I didn't know what it was.
You didn't know what it was. Okay, so we had to break it down, let people know. I used to work in the casino industry, so I understand gambling terms and handles. So, and of course the numbers as well. So I think you did a great. And I hope the numbers racket's going to go well for you in season 3. Maybe make a little bit more scatol.
Yeah, that's what I think he's doing. He's just you see along season 2, he's just trying to prove himself, and he's trying. I think he takes what his uncle says, and he takes the best of what his uncle says and the best of what Benny says in the few scenes that I have with him, and he takes their advice very seriously, and he's just trying to.
Yes.
Prove that he's not just anybody else.
Yes, no, absolutely. You're an up-and-comer. You're a rising star in the crew. Everybody loves new blood. And the fact that you're vouched for by Mikey the Hat, you're in, man. You're in. You're on your way to getting your button inside of this show. I can see it. I'm excited. And I got to ask you before, I know you're busy and you've got to get going, but I have a couple more questions to ask you, Cristian. What was it like working with Gabriella Palminteri? I mean, you guys have such a great chemistry together. That beach scene with Seasons Change in the background, I mean, you're in your leather coat. Come on. That was a really cool scene.
I mean, she's such a sweetheart. I remember shooting those scenes. She didn't come to set, with any, attitude. She came to set to work, and she was so professional and well prepared. And she was just very sweet. And I remember when we got her father on the.
Okay, yeah, I bet you that was a rough day for you.
I remember when we got her father, and we winded up shooting some of the stuff at the Sea Wayne Golf Club. Okay. And Chaz saw me, and he goes up to me, and he says, this is the day after I shot the scene on the beach. He says, so you kissed my daughter and you don't ask me permission?
Oh!
We were wondering how that was going to come back.
Like, how did you do with it? Did you say, I'm sorry, sir?
It was written in?
I was like, it's just business.
Okay.
No, but he was joking, but it was just, we had such a great time.
Was that your first romantic scene?
I had a scene, I had a love interest sort of in back in the day, but that was kind of, I would say that's kind of
the most
intimate I've gotten on screen.
Well, you guys woke up on the beach the next morning. She was in trouble. Tina was paging her.
Away.
Yeah, she's like, see you later.
I gotta
go. Poor baby.
Like, where you going?
What's going on over here? And I like that Robert was going to smoke the joint, and he looked over at you, and he's like, you're not smoking it tonight, Pellier. And that was that. So your influence was good on the crew. And I could only imagine what it would be like to face an actor, like after you loving Bronx Tales so much, having a scene with Calagios.
And his son. His son's in the show, too.
Who is his son?
His son
Who
is
does
the
he
one
play?
that says, I'm going to smoke this big fat joint. He's the
That's the kid who says it?
Oh, no kidding.
We've been wondering.
Yeah, we were wondering who
Shout out
it was.
to Dante Palminteri. He does a great job.
Oh,
Shout out. That's one of the things that we love, Cristian, about Gravesend is it's a family affair, right? You got Marty Cove and his son. You've got William and, of course, you. You've got Chaz and his daughter. I mean, Ralph Macchio's daughter. And by the way, we're going to cover that fight scene they had in the boutique.
With the girls. Oh, my God.
That might be one of my other favorite scenes of the show.
That is so good.
Linda comes right out of the dressing room and cracks her.
Shows that the Brooklyn girls are tough, too.
Yeah, come on. Cleo Lang is in that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
she starts hauling off at the end.
At first, she acts like she doesn't really know how to fight, and by the end of it, she's just cranking the crap out of the girl, and then Linda kicks her right at the end and walks out. She's like, all right, I'm out of here.
Yeah, nobody's safe. Nobody's safe.
No,
it's great, and it shows the camaraderie inside of, I guess, your neighborhood and the life, and, I know Linda was giving her a little bit of junk over at L&B Gardens a little bit, but it just shows that they really are friends, and they're there for each other, and I think the camaraderie that Gravesend shows and portrays is part of why I am drawn to the program, because really the camaraderie, like when Benny and Tough Carmine put their hands on the glass, it's the camaraderie that's getting Tough Carmine through these 100 years. You know what I mean? Because a man like Benny is on the street representing his way of life. He even says, you're from our school, and that's the best school there is. So when you're on the street, you hold your head high. This is one of the things that brings me into the show. It gets the camaraderie. It's the drive, and it's the love that I think that's there that I think a lot of us are missing today, right, in life. So Gravesend does a great job at portraying that. Great job at everything. How do you like being in a show like this with your dad all the time?
I mean, it's like I said earlier, we're together from the beginning of the process all the way to the end with the editing, and watching all these scenes come together, and it's something special, and it's something that doesn't happen much.
I bet.
So
what's a typical production day look like for you?
Oh, our days are tight because we have like we said earlier, this is an independent show. So we don't have the luxury of taking a week to shoot some of these action scenes. Every minute counts.
Sure,
when we're
time
on
is
the clock.
money.
And it's I just want to say when we took on season 2, because I remember at the end when we were talking about doing season 2, because at the end of season 1 we didn't really know we didn't know
if it
what
was
going to
go,
happen.
right?
And it was in the middle of the pandemic. It was like, in our minds, it was like, what is going on? But God, I believe God is the best of planners, and everything happens for a reason.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, because we were talking about like towards the end of like where the timeline where the show was about to come out, where we like, what are we going to do, a movie in between, or what are we going to do? Are we doing season 2? We wasn't even 100% known if we were going to do season 2.
Okay.
And all of a sudden the show came out, and all the messages that we got. When is season 2 coming out? When is season 2 coming out? When is season 2 coming out? We need to see more. We need to see more. And then it just led to all these people. And my father says, we got to do season 2.
You guys caught a tiger by the tail. You really did.
And I remember when he was walking the dogs, and I'm walking with him. I said, Dad, I'm like, are you sure you want to take this on? Are you sure? Because this is real. This is not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
It consumes a lot of time, and what we did was just, humbly speaking, I remember being at the premiere and sitting down with all this cast here, all this cast there, and the crew, and watching the 2 episodes, and it had me at the end of the 2nd episode. I was like in tears because people don't know the struggle that went in.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And those days, and to all the crew and cast members that came together and, put their heart and soul and believed in the project, I can't even say how grateful I am to you guys, because we couldn't do this and we couldn't be there without you. And all the fans that support us, we appreciate you so greatly, because you're the reason why we continue to do this, because it's not easy. But thank you to all our fans.
Come on, that's great. Thank you so much, Cristian, for being so authentic with our audience, sharing yourself in an authentic way. Putting yourself out there isn't always easy, and you do it in a great way, in a professional way, and quite frankly, a well-seasoned way. Frankly, you're an old school guy at a young age. I'm proud to have you sitting next to us here in the podcast. Really,
thank you. I'm sorry.
No, please, come on.
But I believe to all the my advice to people that are younger or whatever age you are, if you want to do something, more important than, even education. I think it's persistence is the most important thing. Yeah. No matter what it is you're doing, no matter what field you're in, whatever dream you have, if you're persistent and you keep trying, you keep getting up at bat, eventually you can hit a home run, And I believe that's the most important thing is persistence. You can't give up when things aren't looking the best. You got to keep going.
Yes.
And that's how we did this show. Little at a time, and eventually you look back and you say, "Wow,
yeah,
we're here."
You remind me of a quote I read yesterday. It said, "You have two choices: either keep going or quit now. Both are going to hurt." And that just goes to show you that going through all the pains and the learning and the persistence
I believe at the end of your life, when you're reflecting, I think it's worse for you to say, I could have been this person.
Sure. What if I tried?
Yeah. What would have life have looked like if I would have tried to do that or try to follow my dream as opposed to just settling?
Sure.
To be comfortable.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something exciting. It caught us because we saw the thing on the Talking Sopranos, and shout out to Michael Imperioli and still Steve Sharippa. We love Talking Sopranos podcast. It's an inspiration for the Talking Gravesend podcast. But when they said that Will DeMeo did this all on his own, right? That nobody else has ever done this before, produced a pilot all on his own public before having anybody behind him as far as a network goes, and then moving on with a hit show into season 2. To be honest with you, it was an inspiration for us to do this show. We just said, we're going to go at this full force. Like there is no backup plan. We saw that interview. And we're like, we're going at this because we believe in the show. We believe in the art that's being put on the screen. We believe in ourselves and our abilities, which you touched on. And we really took a hard look, and I'm pretty good at vibing people. And there's no way you have this many amazing actors still traveling with you through season after season if you guys weren't good people. I mean, that was it. I mean, I'm like,
thank you.
There's no way. Look, Armand Asante is not going to hitch his wagon to someone who isn't a good person. People like Marty Cove. William doesn't know this. My mom's good friends with Marty Cove. Dear friends with him. Marty Cove's been in Springfield, hung out with my mom. It's a true story. We have a lot of weird connections with a few different cast members in Gravesend. But, my mom was in the entertainment business. We've been on the East Coast for a long time. It's hard not to kind of cross-mingle a little that anyway. But we just love all of the characters that are in the show, and I love that it's a family affair. That makes it so much fun for us to watch the show and to learn and discover all of these new relationships and new connections that are on the show.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for your compliment.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And I give you guys a lot of credit for, taking this on and, not knowing how it would go. But
come on, you got to take a chance.
But we could see your passion,
Thank you.
and your attention to detail. And I give you guys both a lot of credit because you guys dissect the scenes and you put your heart into it. It's not like you guys did one episode, threw it out there, saw what the outcome was going to be.
We weren't going to we weren't going to contact anybody until we published 10 full episodes, and we waited. We ended up contacting you at 8 episodes.
Wow!
Just because the response was overwhelming. I mean, we wake up in the morning and we have like 15 direct messages from different cast members, and we're like, all right, we got to make this real. We want to make this real. I hope you guys are enjoying our coverage of the Gravesend show. I mean, this is a fun show. It's going to do everything that you're looking for. You watch shows to get away, right? You've got problems. I've got problems. We don't want to hear about them. We want to watch shows. We want to relax. The Gravesend series on Amazon Prime and Tubi right now streaming. The best organized crime timepiece streaming today. Take my word for it.
We still have like a ton of questions, but I know it's...
You know what? It's getting late and we can't keep them. You know what? Let me ask you this. Would you accept our humble invitation to return to Springfield to Talking Gravesend Podcast so we can get through these other questions we didn't ask you?
Absolutely.
All right, great. We want...
Get his name right.
Right, exactly.
Call me Christian.
Next time we will call you Christian.
Oh, you know what? Oh, God. I'm so bad. No, I don't know if you've ever watched the show Intense, but we're name butcherers.
We're the worst with names.
We ruin people's names.
We destroy these names.
I'm not going to mention the stars or publicists that have contacted us yelling at us for not getting the names right properly, but we're working on that. And,
we do our best.
We do our best. And there's a lot of characters for us to learn. I mean, I didn't know all these people's names.
There's like
you know
200,
what I mean?
There's 200 members in
216 members in the on IMDb, and that list isn't complete. You know what I mean? Because we had to dig down into like Instagram feeds and to find different characters that aren't on there.
And I'm really excited to see how your character is going to continue to develop, because you're an up and comer in that crew.
Yeah.
So it's going to be exciting to watch.
Thank you. I just want to say, for season 3, if you guys loved season 2, I mean, I'm all I could say is just be prepared, because
all right,
we're taking it to another level, a whole other level, and we have some great people joining us this season.
I can't wait.
It's going to be great. It's going to be.
Come
great.
on, we can't wait.
Thank you for all the support on season 2 and season 1.
Our pleasure, Cristian. We love the show. We love what you guys are putting on the screen. There's nothing wrong with uplifting everyone in the show, shining a bright light on what you do. I mean, you're doing great work. And we all need, here in 2024, believe me, we all need to be entertained, right? We need to be taken away from our daily lives. Your show just does that. And so does your acting on the screen. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. All right.
I appreciate it.
On behalf of everyone here at the Talking Gravesend Podcast, the Cristian DeMeo, a.k.a. Sammy, we're happy you're here. Make sure Lisa, how do we usually leave the show?
Well, we like to say make sure that you like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Follow us on all of the social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram at the Talking Gravesend Podcast. Be sure to follow Cristian DeMeo over on his Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, William DeMeo. Go follow the cast.
Everybody,
and of course,
Gravesend Series,
Instagram,
and go
and Brooklyn
get
brand.
yes.
Brooklyn.
And
We didn't even talk
Brooklyn.
about Brooklyn brands. That's what we gotta get back. We love these sweatsuits. I don't know if you know this, but we like build in like Brooklyn brand commercials to our shows. I mean, we're like,
Thank you.
I love the Brooklyn. As soon as I saw it, I was like, come on, this is really cool. You look great in it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have Sergio Tacchini and Fila that sponsor us as well. But Brooklyn brand was developed right before we did season 2, and it just fit perfect.
Oh my God, we want to wear Brooklyn brand sweatsuits on the show. We're definitely going to see what we can do to make that happen. We love the brand. It looks cool, looks comfy. You look pretty good in that thing, man. Come on, nice
Blue's
blue.
a good color on you.
Yeah, blue's a good color.
Thank you.
So make sure you follow my Brooklyn brand. Your Instagram, Facebook. We'll put that in here as well. Do you have anything to do with my Brooklyn brand?
Oh yeah, I'm co-owner.
Okay. Oh, come on, this guy
we
needs.
developed it together in between.
No kidding.
In between the first and the
second season.
Yeah.
All right. I see a lot of people wearing them. Come on, these are great. You're going to want a Brooklyn brand tracksuit. I know our producer, Sam, he wants a purple one. I don't know if you guys do purple yet, but
We don't have purple, but we could make
see if we can make that happen. All right, on behalf of everybody, Talking Gravesend Podcast, West Street Productions, Gravesend family, every single cast member who's reached out to us, I want to thank you. You guys make us feel at home. We do feel at home. We feel like we're kind of a part of the Gravesend family now.
You are.
All right,
Thank
come
you.
on. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Lisa?
All right. We'll see you on the streets.
Ciao.
Ciao.
God bless.